Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new family-style board game called Wangdo. In this game, the players are going to be using their bear statues, or steles as the game calls them, in order to gather tokens from the board. You're going to be deploying your statues, paying with those statues as well, and gathering those resources, those tokens, so that you can complete your main board, your own player board. If you're the first one to do so, nobody else does it, you're going to win the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. We'll come on back after that. I'll tell you what I think of it. Here's what the game looks like set up for 3 or 4 players. If you were playing with only 2 players, you would remove this piece of the puzzle board here and a selection of tokens as well. Each player is going to select one of these boards, so they are identical except for the artwork, and you are going to put that in front of you. This is the side for 3 or 4 players. On the other side, for 2 players, you'll see there's an extra row of these token spaces. But this is the side we'll be using for the demonstration here. Each player begins with a random assortment of 3 of these bears in front of them, and then you are ready to begin. So the objective of the game is very simple. You are trying to gather these tokens, 2 of each kind, and if you're the first one to do so at the end of the round, in which someone does that, if you're the only one to have done so, you win the game outright. If multiple people achieve this in the same round, then you are going to count these little shields, these little symbols on some of the tokens, possibly some of the cards down there, and whoever's got the most of those then is the winner. But again, that's basically a tiebreaker. If someone just completes these, they just win outright. So on your turn, you're going to do one of 2 things. You can take new bear statues. You can take 2 from over here so you know which colors you're getting, assuming they are there, or you can take 3 random ones from the bag. Or your second option, instead of taking new bears, is acquiring one of these tokens. To acquire a token, you are going to play out one of these, and you are going to pay with others. So, let's say I won this spot right here. I can put any bear color there except orange, because the same color cannot be next to itself. So this one would work out fine, this one would be fine, but not the orange. I cannot do that. And then I would have to pay for that placement by getting rid of bears equal to whatever's around my newly acquired spot, in this case, orange. So I need this, and I'm going to pay that by putting it over here. I take the token where that was sitting there, and I'm going to add it onto my board, and it's the next player's turn. That's it. So obviously, as the game goes on, the spots become more expensive. For someone to go in here next, for example, they need to play either a blue bear or an orange bear in there, because white and brown cannot be next to themselves, and then they will have to pay 1 brown, 1 white, and they can take that spot. That's it. As people are completing their rows here, if you complete a line of 2 of the same, you're going to draw one of these special cards. If you never play it, it'll be one of those shields at the end of the game printed on the back, but you can play these throughout the game for special bonuses, and these are going to do things like steal one of the bears from another player's reserve, or this one lets you play twice, basically, by paying 1 time and then taking your regular turn. This one here lets you ignore the colors when you place a bear. The ones you're paying with, not the one that stays on the board. This one lets you pay 1 less than what you would need. This one lets you put up to 3 of your bears in the bag and then draw 1 more than the ones you just returned. This card you keep till the end of the game, and it's actually 2 shields instead of 1 of those. So that one you wouldn't play at all. That's largely it. There's some that let you switch 2 things on the board, such as this one, switch 2 adjacent bears or 2 adjacent tokens. That's how that works. But that's pretty much it. So again, you're going to draw up to 4 cards in the game. Though really 3 of them will be playable, because the last one would, you can't play a card you drew on that turn, and so the last one you would really never be able to play. So you'll draw at most 3 of these cards, and you will take at most 8 of these tokens in a 3 or 4 player game. Once that's done, and again, someone completes their board, you finish out that round. This is a start player marker just to remember who began the game. And you're going to see who the winner is, either the one who completed it by themselves, they win, or you go to that tiebreaker I told you about. There's one more rule, that is, as players are playing new bears and paying costs, these tracks over here might, if players are not taking from them, fill up. And if you ever place the fifth one in a color out there, then they immediately would go back into the bag, and the player who did so is going to take, as a bonus, one bear from one of the other colors out there and put it in their stock. Okay? That's everything in the game. So now you know how to play. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so there it is. Let me tell you what I thought. I'm going to start with the positives this time, and I'll end up with the things I didn't like. And spoiler alert, there's a lot I didn't like. I wasn't particularly impressed by this game, unfortunately, because I really wanted to be. The things I did like, okay? The game looks incredibly good. Those little bears are sort of rubbery, and they are fantastic. They're a great bit. The look of everything is bright, it's clean. Just love the artwork in this. It's a beautiful production. It really is. Playtime is very short. The game's 30 minutes tops, so I really like that. It's a punchy, quick game, and it's very easy to play. There's only a handful of rules in this game. They're pretty straightforward to internalize. You have to be careful that a new player doesn't make a mistake when they put a bear next to another bear of the same color. But as long as you're, you know the game and you're watching for that, everything else is easy peasy in this. Now, things I thought were just so, the theme. I'm not sure what the theme is here exactly. It does not hurt teach the game, which is a big one for me. I don't want a theme that's going to actually impact my ability to get the points across that I need to. But it doesn't help either. I don't... it's not about anything that's tangible, so didn't really like that. And then the things I thought were not great at all is the replayability. The game has very low replayability because you're doing the exact same thing from one play session to another. I know there is a random setup of where the tokens ended up. Your considerations for what you take and when are the same. It does not matter. It's all the same stuff anyway, and every turn is basically the same. And then finally, tactics and strategy are obvious. They're apparent. There's going to be a bunch of boring turns in which you just draw bears from the bag, or you take a couple from out there and sit and wait. Now, that turn's going to come back around really quick, but the implications here are so transparent. There is nothing clever or particularly engaging to do. If you can take a token cheaply, take it. If that token has one of those seals on it, one of the shields, then take that one instead. If you need bears, get some. If you need specific colors, get those from the board. It's just... And then if you're drawing from the bag, and even the 3 original ones you get at the beginning of the game, the level of randomness there is going to impact this game because it's so tight. Everyone is doing basically everything at the exact same speed, just about. When I'm due to draw bears, you're probably due to draw bears or get new bears. If I get the colors that aren't quite working out for me, I just fell behind. I'll probably lose. The way you win, I really dislike. The way you score. This idea of complete the board. Are you the only one who did it? Great, you just win. Oh, that's not what happened? Then see if you got, luckier than the other people and you have more of those shields on your board because, well, you were near those. You had the colors to get those. And you would never not take those over the ones that don't have it. So, I was hoping when I first played it, I thought, well, maybe as a family game, maybe with more players, but it's just the same. The game, after one play, you've seen everything it has to offer just about. Even the cards are not that interesting. And I love the connection stuff and the bear colors. I like those things, but they're used in such a boring game. the way you win, the way you score. I mean, you don't score, but there are so many other different concepts I would have liked to have seen in this game that this cool connection system just does not utilize. So unfortunately, this is a miss for me. This is I would say pass on this one. There's a lot better connection type games out there for families. There are some that have, a little more going on. They'll be better for gamers. This one, besides looking fantastic, just does not have the legs, to go the distance. I don't think you're gonna find it enjoyable, and the fact that it is balanced on a razor's edge means it's gonna come down to the luck of the bears if you have to draw from the bag and you get lucky or don't. So there you go. That is Wangdo. This is a miss from me. Thanks for checking this out with me. I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.